Will the U.S. lift sanctions first in order to get Iran back to the negotiating table?
No.
They have to stop enriching uranium first.
So Deputy Foreign Minister Araghchi, thank you so much for this opportunity and welcome to CGTN.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me in your program.
Sure, of course, it's our pleasure. Let's get right to it. Joe Biden, the new U.S. president, said he will not lift U.S. sanctions on Iran first. Iran will have to stop enriching uranium first. What will be your proposal to his argument?
Well, first of all, what he said was then corrected by other sources saying that he meant enrichment beyond the JCPOA. But on the main question, which is the sequence of coming back to the full compliance by all parties to the JCPOA, I have to say that the situation is quite clear. It is not Iran who left the JCPOA, it is the US. The United States decided to cease its participation in the JCPOA. They left the table and they reimposed their sanctions. They even imposed new sanctions on Iran. So now if their policy is to come back to the JCPOA and become again a participant, of course they have to lift their sanctions and come back to full compliance. What we did was in fact a remedy for the violation of the deal by the United States and against the reimposition of sanctions on Iran. Reduction of commitments by Iran, as I said, was in fact a remedy measure based on paragraph 36 of the JCPOA. So I think if you just reasonably consider this situation, everybody would say that it is the US who should come back first. Once they are back and have lifted their sanctions again, and we verify that sanctions are gone, then we are ready to quickly and swiftly go back to full compliance of the JCPOA.
Now it looks like a chicken-egg problem, Deputy Foreign Minister.
Well, I don't see it as a chicken and egg question. They left the JCPOA. They imposed sanctions on us in the past 4 years. Now, if they think that JCPOA is a good deal and they want to come back to the deal, of course they should come back to their obligations, and then Iran would follow.
Joe Biden said if he were to enter negotiations with the Iranian side on resuming the JCPOA, he said he may want to negotiate on curbing Iran's ballistic missile programs and also its regional activities. Would that be something Iran would consider?
Not at all. JCPOA is only about Iran's nuclear program. And it has two pillars, limitations on our peaceful nuclear program in return for sanctions lifting. That's all. We didn't negotiate on any other subject when we negotiated the nuclear deal, and that was intentional for a reason, and that was a decision by all parties. When we negotiated JCPOA together with China, Russia, 3 Europeans and the United States, all of us decided for a reason not to engage in any other subjects beyond the Iran's nuclear program. And this is why the JCPOA was a success. We are not prepared to engage in any other subjects, being regional issues, our defense capabilities, especially since that the US has proved to be an unworthy party in negotiations. And the Europeans have proved that they are not able to deliver their promises. Unfortunately, the JCPOA became a very bad experience for the Iranian people. And it proved that we cannot trust the Western countries when they promise.
On February the 6th, Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif said, quote, "Time is running out for the Americans, both because of the parliament bill and the election atmosphere that will follow the Iranian New Year," unquote. And he suggested that the Iranian parliament's legislation may force the Iranian government to take a harder position. What exactly did the foreign minister mean by that?
Well, I think the parliament's legislation is quite clear. The parliament, actually ordered the government to start enriching uranium up to 20% right away. This is something that we did almost a month ago. And then the parliament has decided that the voluntary implementation of additional protocol should be stopped 2 months after the law come into force. And that deadline is actually 21st February. So if nothing happened before that date, if sanctions are not lifted before that date, we have no way but to implement what our parliament has decided. So we would stop implementing additional protocol, and that would mean that the number of inspections, the number of inspectors in Iran would be reduced. We would still be a member of NPT. We would still have our own safeguard agreement with the IAEA, and we would remain committed to the NPT and safeguard agreement. And based on those two instruments, inspectors would still continue their job in Iran, but not as much as the additional protocol would allow them. The date is coming very soon. Yes, we are in short of time. And then about after 1 month before that, after that date, we would come to Iran's New Year's time, and then we would enter into election, environment. And everybody knows that during election campaigns, nobody would prefer to negotiate. So we have very limited time available to us. Now it is up to President Biden to correct that policy. If they want to maintain JCPOA in place as a very important achievement of diplomacy and a very important instrument in non-proliferation regime, they should, decide very quickly, because time is running out for the condition, for the reasons that I already mentioned. We are not in a hurry, but the U.S. new administration should adjust their policies regarding the JCPOA very quickly. Otherwise, this momentum might be lost.